Happy Saturday and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you will learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Shivangi and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I would like to give you a brief overview to this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, you will see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our lives. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, our consciousness is drawn from worldly objects and directed inward to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, leading us to higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsangs, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. This is the type of satsang we will learn today where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy that we can experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, the agenda for today's session consists of three parts: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions or there will be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He was born into a satsang family where he witnessed his family members obtaining states of enlightenment and live lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang can have on mankind. Upon arriving in the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by our Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji and his daughter Parul.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining, and thank you Shivangi Lee for that amazing intro. And yeah, so today we're obviously going to practice satsang here. I'm going to start with a topic. My dad will lead us into the meditation, and he also has a topic at the end of our meditation. So today's topic on my end is the essence of love and living, breathing, and being from the heart. So my dad is going to speak on this subject later, maybe from a more detailed and varied perspective. But my food for thought today is that connecting from the heart is a journey from the third eye down to the heart. And the benefits from a spiritual perspective are literally never ending to doing that. And in any kind of spiritual journey, I think the natural inclination is that the third eye is where it just naturally connects. So the third eye is more cerebral, and you might, if you are deeply connecting with that area, you might see things, you might understand things on a deeper level. You might, have certain powers come up, but you have to be careful when you're too connected and too deeply, you know, only connecting from the third eye chakra. And you have to catch certain moments so that you don't go into lack, separation, judgment, fear, and worry, or even feeling superior or inferior than others. So in other words, the third eye is a place where ego can manifest and grow as much as your spirituality can. And when you take that journey from, that third eye, and you take that full journey down to the heart, you start to energetically tune into things. So naturally, you will feel more empathic, more compassionate, more accepting of people around you. And you'll understand that we are not separated. There is no lack, but actually, we're all connected. And a lot of times, we're reflections of each other. And there are states within ourselves that we were unwilling to look at or accept that can be reflected to us through the other people around us. And, this happens no matter what frequency or vibration you're on. There's a certain grounding in the heart, especially as the middle chakra between, the earth going down and the ether is going up, right? So the heart is where your growth is more gradual and your vibration raises over time, rather than, thinking about things, processing what's happening, and, having to know like what's your growth and where you're at energetically. So it's a natural progression that happens exactly when it's supposed to. Bringing light into the heart space helps us ground ourselves into a completely new vibration. And that vibration is of unconditional love. And when we all know we're in the presence of someone who has that, the glow, the peace, the energy that radiates off of their pores, and it just puts you at ease. No matter what you're going through or thinking, those kind of people are full of peace. So that is the state that we are connecting with here in Satsang. There's a wholeness and a peace that your soul wants to reach. And by illuminating your energy with light and then sitting in silence, you make space to connect with exactly that. And that's what we will practice now and also discuss more later in this session. But on that note, let's get started with today's session, and I will hand it over to my dad. Do you need to unmute?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Juan and Shivangi and Parul. So before we get into meditation today, I think this thought that, you know, um, there are many ways, top down, bottom up, and, as Parul was describing, heart chakra is in the middle. Um, so Guru Maharaj actually studied many processes, experienced, even worked on a few things. Then what worked for him, he refined and packaged it for us. Um, the whole idea of starting, uh, you know, uh, in the heart center, it's very powerful. I was actually this morning, I was looking at an article by you know my father, and somewhere in the middle he basically talked about the heart center meditation, and um, he emphasized that there are no rituals here, very pure, simple meditation and mindfulness focused approach. And all you're doing is, one, sit comfortably, we'll talk about that in the instructions. Visualize this transcendental energy, um, and you know, the source could be your gurus, source could be God, source could be, you know, whatever. So, when I was growing up, the instructions used to be that it's your choice, um, and it is. But keeping this source in its conscious form, and this transcendental light is emitting from that source, enlightening our heart, and then from there distributing throughout our body, just that can, uh, you know, so in the article, he was saying, imagine your heart is glowing, illuminate, completely, glowing with this light. And then you go deep, um, uh, you know, um, into this process. So this backdrop has an extremely positive impact on your state of mind, on your, and eventually in that article, he even talked about how that affects your thinking, your, um, behavior, um, and how you interact with people. And we have talked about, but it's so light, then love, and then peace. All that just very. It's not necessarily sequential, but uh, you know, to really get to selfless and unconditional love, which we might talk about, but can we really connect with it? Can we really feel it? Can we really, um, you know, demonstrate that in our lives? Um, can we, have peace in abundance, or, whenever and at whatever point, it's like utility. You want water, you just open the tap. It's like you want peace, you just, ground yourself in it. All that happens through this process. I've seen it multiple times. So let's just keep at it. We'll talk a little bit more about, some of those states that we have discussed that come through the meditation, um, because that article had that too. So we'll talk about that, but let's get into it. So still and relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed. And as we were discussing, let's focus on our heart, but with the backdrop that this transcendental energy is right here, right now, entering our heart and then enlightening it and then distributing throughout the body. And that way we are completely and totally immersed in this light. We are becoming. So mind wanders away, it will, and as soon as we realize that mind has wandered away, just bring it back. So that's part of the inward orientation. Concentration is just that we focus on one thing and one thing alone. So leave the barrage of thoughts, just focus on one thing, and that is this light is right here in front of us, and that light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body. We're becoming totally immersed in that light. So we'll start with music. The music fades away and we go deep into silent meditation on this transcendental light. And then we transition out with music again. So let's start. So happy Saturday, everyone. So continuing the discussion on the heart-centered approach that Guru Maharaj prescribed, and you know, it worked for him, and I have seen it work for so many. Um, so in this article, my father actually talked about how um, the transformation takes place. So he um, talked about Ashtanga Yoga or the eight limbs of yoga and all that. And at the end, what he summarized was that if we look at, you know, how we have to sit still for this process, so Siddhasan, or one of the asanas or postures um, that is the basically one of the highest postures where you get to is the stillness, that you can sit still for hours and hours. So as you sit still in this process, initially it might be difficult, but eventually it becomes part of the process. So posture stabilizes, he says, and that is part of one of the limbs, which is the physical exercises or asanas. And the second one is pranayams or breath work, or, you know, breathing exercises. And the goal there is to balance the breathing. And again, so, in this process, you will find that your breathing slows down. And as you go deeper, it balances as well. Um, and then we have talked about several times the yam and niyam, which is the behaviors that you need to keep and what you need to give up. Um, so as you reflect, as you meditate, as you go deeper in this practice, that is also one of the outcomes. So inner purity unfolds. And then withdrawal from the worldly possessions is one byproduct of inward orientation. So we start our practice with inward orientation. As we, make this, um, part of our practice, it becomes, you know, deeper. And just by doing that, you are actually, uh, you know, uh, withdrawing your senses in so many ways. And then dharana and dhyan, or the meditation and concentration. So stillness deepens with this practice, and eventually higher consciousness is not too far away. So he kind of concludes that in our busy, performance-driven world, spiritual practice, uh, sometimes just becomes either completely ignored or just a task. But if you start at the heart, you start with light, what evolves is an unbounded love, and the rest unfolds from there. So, on that note, Parul, back to you. And let's open this up. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So when you say posture, what did you mean by that?
So, basically, the first part or the first thing in the instructions is that be in a comfortable posture, but still. That being still is not an easy thing. So all the asanas in 108 or whatever number, and then variations just go, into so many. All the idea there was that if you stretch, if you do some exercises, you will have enough toning of your body that you can sit still. And as a while back we were talking about my grandmother used to sit. Once she would sit in meditation, whatever the time is, like sometimes an hour plus, she would not move at all. It's like, and that is called siddhasan, or siddh is the resultant or the, you know, something that you have mastered. So a mastered, you know, um, asana is siddhasana, and that is the asana where you just absolutely and totally sit still. So hope that helps.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify, but it is interesting. It's like a muscle where first you can only do 5 minutes and then it turns into 10 and more and more.
Yep.
Do you think there's too long to sit?
No, I mean, people used to sit uh, in the lotus pose for hours and
Mm-hmm.
hours in meditation. However, not all meditations are made the same. So um, I think what I have heard is like the meditation we do, usually optimal is about half an hour. Um, 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes is probably the minimum. Uh, I would say 40, 45 is probably the max you go in this version because it is very intense and it gets very deep. Um, and meditation actually, um, you know, it's a mental activity. It kind of increases the warmth in the body. Um, so the heat evolves. So it's only that much that's good for you. But there are other practices, and as we have seen, like you can do prayers in before and after, you can do mindfulness, you can do breath work before and after, or other times. So you can augment it with many other things. But Guru Maharaj said like half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening is ideal.
And if you do get headaches and stuff, you probably shouldn't.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not well, if you're getting headaches, if you eh, and there are, yeah, I mean, that is why like, you know, you learn yoga from an experienced practitioner. This process is also to be, you know, learned from a experienced practitioner, and guidance can be given for free. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. Well, if anybody does want to come on and talk about the topic more or something that's going on,
So
feel
Christy,
free.
Tia, I think somebody is visiting her. So
Oh, yeah, we'll miss you, Christy. Thanks for coming. Typical timing. No, don't say sorry. It's fine. But yeah, if anybody wants to come on and just talk about any of the topics or just say hi, feel free. Our break the ice person is gone.
yeah, both of
Good
those.
morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
I'll
There's
break, I'll break the ice.
yeah.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you for the meditation. I wanted to ask, since Paro, you were asking some of the detailed questions about sort of the little physical nuances that might happen, like headaches and whatnot. I used to get those, and some once in a while I get them, but I'm not sure if it's attributed to the meditation or it's just something else. I can't tell. Um, and I also didn't know that I should stop if I was getting the headaches. I thought it was something that, oh, you just have to push through it. and the meditation will actually help you lessen the headache. So I'm confused why that happens. And today in the meditation, I especially felt my mind wandering the whole time. I kept bringing it back, but the more I tried to bring it back, there definitely feels like a sort of strain in my third eye area, and I don't know if that is also what you mean by headaches.
Okay, so two things or three things then. One part was a topic that I kind of skipped, so you're kind of making me go back there, but we'll uh, go to that later. So headaches. One, I think, one suggestion that was I also read in one of Guru Maharaj's books was that find an optimal time. So reduce if headaches persist, especially you have to reduce the time and see what is the optimal time that you can um, uh, sustain or and then start from there and slowly and gradually increase. So that body gets acclimatized and then you know so so that's one way. Another thing you um, so one of the things that has been documented in several contexts and several ways is do not fight with your mind. It's the example is how you tame the wild horse. You let it run and run and run and run, and when it is actually tired, then you settle it. So um, one of the three states that my father described in detail was there are times when you close your eyes, you great meditation, you're refreshed, you're absolutely fresh, energized and light, and you feel the light, you see the light, and all kinds of things. I mean, some of those things might pop up and make you feel good. And you say, oh, this was great meditation, really pumped up, and all that. But then there are those days when you close your eyes and mind is going here, there, to places where you have seen, places you haven't seen. It's like a dream-like state. And he's he said that that is a very essential piece of this practice, and you have to cross that phase or sometimes multiple times, but um, so that's not a bad thing at all. It's cleansing process. The example he used to give was like if you have a room which is kind of dirty but is not looking dirty because the dust has settled. When you start to clean it, the dust unsettles and it looks far dirtier than when you started. But then once you clean it, it's actually clean. So that's the unsettling of our mind where, you know, barrage of thoughts or movie like state. And sometimes like you go one place, another place, and there is no control sometimes at all. All that, all good, no issues. Um, Third state is where you are lethargic, you don't want to meditate. That is when you want to stay on and continue the practice because that also, so when you are like you close your eyes, it's absolutely dark and there's like no thought, there's nothing going on. That's actually a pretty deep state in itself. While it doesn't give you that feel, and because you don't feel light and refreshed, and but you feel like very drawn in, but that drawn in is not necessarily a bad thing. Um, so coming back to your strain on the forehead feels like at times your focus might be going from the heart to elsewhere, including forehead, and because at times people have found that meditating, in between the eyes, um, on the forehead, Agya Chakra comes easier in the beginning, but then as Parul was referring, it actually increases your what you see as lights and sounds and the ego or the whole thing that you are growing and you're progressing and all that just becomes a distraction rather than a growth path.
I'm gonna chime in real quick. Because the energy is like going up here, I'm like, are you forcing energy? Like, are you like forcing yourself to see the light and stuff?
Yeah, I'm like, when my mind wanders, and the bringing back to the light is me trying to visualize the light, but yeah, it's like kind of in that area of my forehead, and that's where I'm seeing it sort of come from.
And then if you're
But
like
it's
experiencing a headache or
forced.
something, how long are you meditating?
So it will last for a few seconds, and then it'll pass, and then it'll come back during the meditation. So it'll have moments of where I'm like, oh, okay, this is too much force, and I try to sort of ease up my forehead.
I think you need to relax back into your body and then come back to the heart because it's all going up here. You're forcing it.
Yeah, I have a tougher time connecting to the heart because
I think you're
I don't
thinking
know,
it. You're
in my thinking head.
you're trying to
Yeah.
process what's happening instead of relaxing back into your body and your heart. So maybe you should, before you're even meditating, like really relax your body.
Okay. So
No, and there is another instruction which I don't give is that you uh, um, okay. So one part is that you sit in a relaxed posture and you have your chin a little inwards. So now the chin is inwards, your eye is kind of looking at your heart, kind of thing, right? Uh, that might help as well. But so one, if there are headaches, reduce the time. If you are feeling strain of any kind, again, I would reduce the time. The fight with the mind should absolutely and totally stop. Meditation should be effortless. To make it effortless, you have to let go and just observe. Observe is the key word. So observe doesn't take effort, right? So I don't know if that'll help, but let's say I have sunlight coming in this room or there is lots of light. I don't have to do any visualization. I am in the light, right? I am in the
right,
light,
yeah.
right? So it's not like you are surrounded by transcendental energy. We are just concentrating that to a source and then taking it into the heart. Um, it's not happening, just don't worry. Just say, I am surrounded by this, you know, uplifting positive energy. That's it. And like I am sitting in light, that's naturally sitting there. Just think it that way.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah. It's almost like fake it till you make it. Like you don't have to force it right now. It'll come.
Right now or ever, hopefully.
Fake it till you make it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I would
Also,
try.
like this happened to me
Mhm.
like earlier on in like when I was like in my younger 20s, and something that helped was doing every other day because I was getting really bad headaches and I was forcing as well. So
Okay.
like maybe see if you want to do like one day on, one day off and see how if the headaches reduce.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
think it's
shorter times,
shorter.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, just get rid of the headaches first and then try to do it.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Awesome. So we have a question from Shivangi Lee. The three states you describe, are they cyclical, as in you cycle through them multiple times before you are elevated to the higher state?
Not necessarily. It's very individual based. Some people just cut across. So it's like cleansing of your sanskars and whatever is buried in there. Some have tons of it, some have very light baggage that we carry. So if it is light, sometimes in a very short period of time, you just cross through. However, as there are 5 steps, 5 milestones, 5 realms. So realm of the world, realm of life, realm of the mind, realm of knowledge, and realm of love before from this end to that end. So if we take that model, potentially there would be 5 transitions. Um, and but these transitions show up very, very, very differently in each realm. So the one that is described by my father was in the third realm, where it becomes very clean because we're trying to tone the mind. So mind comes at it, and it's very clear that at one time mind is very uplifted, one time mind is very down and negative, and the other one is where the movie like situations are happening. So that's in the realm of the mind. Lower states, you know, uh, the meditation is actually just a work in progress, not really happening. So it doesn't really matter that much. On the higher states, when the realm of knowledge and love, there you are already in the solar phase of your spiritual journey where you have your light coming through, and you have more abundance of love, light, and peace, as they say, as we describe here. Um, so these states now become more elevated, but more elevated means that even the negative energy gets more elevated. So sometimes you see yogis who seem to be very, you know, whatever, they are in higher states, but they have, sometimes they can get angry like you haven't seen any before. Why is that? Because now their concentration and focus and mental powers, uh, when channeled through anger, will demonstrate anger like you haven't seen, um, and so many other things. So emotional regulation there becomes very, very important. And that is another difference between Agya Chakra and heart center. Heart center makes you humble from day one. Because of that, your emotional regulation is very, 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 very different than uh, people who follow the Agya Chakra energy. So, um, yeah, I mean, in satsang also, I see people at higher states slip and slide and, even drown, quote unquote. and and that happens in lust, in anger, in greed. It can happen at any level. So thinking that now you are elevated enough to be away from, uh, call it the Satan, call it the negative energy, call it the devil, whatever, um, doesn't leave you till you live. So the fights get feistier. Hope I answered that one.
That sounds like the Achilles heel almost.
See, Guru Maharaj says that if you go higher and it becomes steeper and steeper as you move further up, especially in the fourth and fifth realm, when you fall, you are damaging yourself a lot more than from the lower realms. And I have seen it personally.
Yeah. So like let's say someone has like the anger issue as their Achilles heel and they lash out. So is that putting them backwards? Or how does that work?
If for example, as you grow, you are interacting with a lot more people, your behavior is getting better, you are attracting more people, and now you somehow grow this anger. So if anger, like one of my uncles used to demonstrate anger to send a message to, as an administrator, to the community, or to a person or persons, uh, that is as administration. But 5 minutes later, you could hear the deepest spiritual things from him, right? But if anger gets out of control at higher stage, it can affect so many more people, number one. Number two, it can affect you because the intensity and concentration capability is a lot more. So it hurts, or it actually has a far more negative effect. Um, but I mean, anger is anger, right? I mean, one of the um, examples I think from Buddha's stories is like a, keeping anger in yourself and getting consumed by it is like holding live burning coal, right? I mean, your hand is going to get burned one way or the other. So if you keep anger within you, that's what is going to happen.
What about like sadness or like because we talk about anger a lot, but we don't also talk about like sadness or being fearful or worried all the time, things like that.
So again, because your focus and concentration and ability to channelize energy is increased, so if you somehow, and this happens, um, instead of focusing on the solution or on the light or on the positive, if you focus on the negative, you will actually connect with it far more intensely, closely, and invite it uh, to consume you a lot more than before. And I do see that until and unless you realize how to keep your energy walls, um, and Guru Maharaj used to say, I just keep my guru in my, as my armor. His energy shield keeps me away from the negative energy. But if you let it through, um, and I have seen that lately, because uh, if for whatever reason you allow the negative energies uh, to continue to affect you as you grow in this path, then the intensity and the damage that is done will be even more.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted at all.
Yeah. So you do have to constantly be choosing positivity, protection,
Yeah,
all the things.
if I was growing and I was thinking everything is going great. Something untoward happens. And at that time, I lose my focus, my shield, my
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
approach, just because I'm more focused on what untoward thing has happened. That now, because of my ability to concentrate more, I'm concentrating on the wrong thing far longer than I ever would have before, or far more intensely. And that would have, so that is why in this process, somebody looking at you from the outside is recommended.
As like a,
Guru.
yeah, as a guru. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That was great.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's actually anything that you do, you need an expert advice. And you, as you grow further into your own expertise, to grow further, you need even more expert advice. Uh, so it's not that you take a mantra and run, right? This is a journey, and journey would be more helpful if you have guidance, and especially if you get caught up in negative ideas, negative energies, negative thoughts, negative this, negative that. What is that? It's completely opposite to satsang, which is to elevate yourself to higher state through focus on the sat, or the positive, or the transcendental energy.
Yeah, that was great. Guru equals coach, mentor, or guide. Thank you for the definition.
No, see, the thing is, here
It's different.
it's more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Oh, yeah.
it, it actually, the more I am reading about tawaze, or the attention that in this particular process, how guru can uplift you, is that it basically could help you cover these potentially negative aspects, provided you allow that to happen. So,
Yeah, here it goes a couple steps deeper.
yeah, it is like, um, I have a big tank of water in the community. I have a small tank. All I need to do to fill that small tank is to connect, and then have some regulation to make sure it not just spills all the way through, right? So the connection process and the regulation of that connection, I think, is better done externally by some person that's called.
Yeah. And there's like levels to gurus as well.
Yeah. So in the third realm, of top of the third realm, is you're growing, you have gotten a lot of mental powers and capabilities, so you become a teaching assistant, or that's also called guru. But then in the realm of knowledge, the fourth realm, when you are deeply in the solar phase, um, your light, your love, your knowledge is now, you know, uplifting people. So that's Sadguru. And then when you go further up, uh, so in the realm of love, the Krishna consciousness, or where your consciousness is at a level where just by being in your company, um, there is a splashing effect. The energy splashes and affects everybody who comes near you, in contact with you, interacts with you. And the classic example of that is in the Buddha's story of Ungalimal. So there was this guy who used to kill people, and he was in part of this jungle where anybody who would cross, he would kill them, get all the possessions, and he would actually cut the finger and put in his garland. And so he had a garland full of fingers, and so people said to Buddha, "Don't go this way," and he said, "No, I would. I have to go there, and I would, you know, so I'm not afraid of this person." So they met, and the rest is history. Because so Ungalimal actually joined Buddha's sangha, or his community, or his, you know, part of the following that Buddha had. So that's Samarth Guru, or the, you know, the highest level, where Guru or the Shishya or the disciple doesn't have to do anything. It's just their meeting of that, you know, is at a level that it affects, the transformation happens effortlessly. All right, I think on that.
That was great, though.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any last thing, you can come on. Otherwise, this was great. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Love, light, and peace be with you. We're glad that we were in satsang, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Amazing session.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, happy Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bhanu, Mahima ji.
प्रणाम
सादर
भैया
चरण
सब
स्पर्श